You should check out Server Life as well and r/DoorDash. I could do that. I'm not talking about the dude who spent $1,200 on Hooters, though, on DoorDash, because we already went through that. We already talked about that yesterday. I'm not bringing it back, okay? This one is super heavy, by the way. Really? How could this be super heavy? I dumped my boyfriend for leaving my closet door open? Sorry if the title sounds clickbaity. My ex posted on Am I the Asshole with Am I the Asshole for not wanting to close my girlfriend's closet? And I just wanted a place to respond. My now ex-boyfriend and I were together for 2 years. Would have been 3 years next month. We meet through a mutual friend because of our similar interests. For context, I've lived in my apartment for about 4 years. The mutual friend stayed in the beginning. Now, listen, I'm not trying to create family drama here. And this is so much not related to the actual content of the post. We need to have a revolution in the education system to teach people how to tell stories. This story may be interesting, but you have to get me there, because you're not, I was going to say you're not paying me to listen to you. Like if this was a therapist, then sure, you add all the context and stuff like that, but you got to hook me early. It reminds me of like my wife was talking to my niece when we were away on vacation, and she was trying to ask my niece the details of a vacation that she took with her sister. And the first thing that my 11-year-old niece said was, well, 2 months ago, my cousin was staying with us, and I was just like, what are we doing with the English teachers in this country? We're from 2 different countries, but we share a lot of culture at least. It's a simple question where I want relevant details, and then you're giving me Peter Jackson's The Hobbit first. Like you got 3 movies that are leading up to the actual stuff that I want to see. And there's a good, it's nice to build a moment, don't get me wrong, but I don't know who any of these people are. I've lived in my apartment for 4 years. The mutual friend stayed in the beginning, but they moved 3 years ago. So since then, I've been living on my own. I was originally going to have my boyfriend move in with me once my lease ended, but of course, change of plans. Okay. So my ex posted on Am I the Asshole for leaving my closet door open, yet he missed very important details. One question that kept appearing was, why didn't I close the door even though I never leave it open? Okay, so she never opens her closet. So that's why she never has to close it, I think. Ever since I was little, I've trained my brain to always make sure the closet door was closed. When I was 6, I was sharing a room with my older sister. One night she went over to her friend's house for a sleepover. My parents and I got home a little bit late. I kept hearing a noise from somewhere, but wasn't sure where and just assumed it was the AC. I laid on my back just staring at the roof and heard my closet door being opened. My bed was faced towards my closet, so when I moved my head down, I could see this old man coming out of it. I screamed and my parents came running in. My dad grabbed me and I saw my mom hitting that man with one of her favorite pans. We called the police and later found out the man was homeless, must have snuck in while we were away and hid in my closet when he heard my parents' car come in. This is crazy. Like they're never beating this post is fake allegations on Reddit. Why her favorite pan? Like that's just one of the I hate, one of my pet peeves is when someone accuses you of something and then you are innocent of the accusation, so you say that's not true, and then they say that's exactly what someone who was guilty would say. That's extremely annoying because there's no counter to that. You're like, the only thing you can do is say, yeah, that's right. And then they'd be like, wait a minute, you admitted to it too easily. You must be innocent. That being said, I've always heard that when people lie, they have a tendency to add unnecessarily specific details to the situation. So I don't think that the average person would be like, they need to know that it was my mom's favorite pan. Tomo, you gotta go. This requires a consistent throughput on train of thought. He bit me. Am I the asshole? It didn't hurt or anything. He was just giving me a warning. But what's your problem? Holy cow! Since then, I've suffered from PTSD in fear of someone coming in my closet again. I mean, I think that if this story is real, that makes perfect sense. That seems pretty fair. I slept with my parents for a few years after that. We moved to another state once I hit high school. Parents got me a therapist when the incident occurred, and to this day, I'm still going to therapy. I feel like it wasn't working just because I was venting, and the therapist would go, how does that make you feel, instead of suggesting something to help me. Well, I'm not going to get into the backseating on whether or not the therapist was good, but I don't know if is that a reasonable expectation for therapy, that you go and explain your problem, and then your therapist is just going to go, what you're going to do is like tap on the side of your head 5 times before you go to sleep, and that should sort you right out. That was until my current therapist, she suggested I could use something by a nightlight and place it by the closet. And then I asked if I used something else, like something that could stick onto the walls. It was first these big glow-in-the-dark dino stickers. I felt kind of silly about it first when I did put it up, but when I had my sleep paralysis, I was still scared, but now I was able to tell what was sleep and what wasn't, and it gave me a sense of comfort. I changed the themes occasionally to dinos, planets, and now stars. For the past 7 years, it's worked for me. Moving on. I'm sorry. Because you know what I'm trying to not say is that this sounds like the person writing this is 8 years old. I'm not suggesting like that this is fake necessarily. And people are saying like, no, this is a real thing that you do for sleep paralysis. I'm not touching that issue at all because I don't have any expertise on that issue. I'm just saying I don't think that the average like person in their 20s would add the detail of like, I used glow-in-the-dark stickers and then I changed them from dinosaurs to planets and now stars. Like that, most people would know that that is an element that is not really relevant to the story at hand. I feel like this is, again, tangential to the point. When you're telling a story, there's a flywheel. You want to tell the story. Your natural inclination is going to be to give as many details as possible. You need to fight that instinct. You need to hook them early, give them I don't want it to sound like a high school essay prompt, but you have to basically give them, here's what the point of the story is going to be, establishing details, dilemma behavior, did I do the right thing? There's no need for all this, I was wearing my Lightning McQueen pajamas at the time, I had chicken noodle soup for dinner that night. Like, unless you threw up chicken noodle soup all over the dude that was hiding in your closet, it's not necessary. Like, there's this post could have been a meeting, which could have been an email, which could have been a text, which could have been an emoji. Maybe skull emoji, closed door skull emoji. I moved out of my parents' home at 20 to live in an apartment with a friend who I met in college. I only went for 2 years. No, it doesn't matter. It's a Reddit post, not an English assignment. Yeah, but it's like, this is not how people talk to each other. You should be bringing this up with your therapist. She understood me completely. She only left it open once when she came home from a night shift. She was remorseful, never did it again. Now to me ex. We pretty much clicked when we met, had similar hobbies, liked exploring new foods. It was fun. I also told him about my trauma, asked that I didn't mind it open during the day, but at night it needs to be closed no matter what. He could still put or take something out of it, but close it back up. He complied throughout the entirety of our relationship. It wasn't until a few months ago where he started to act very controlling. He would say small comments about certain foods I would eat, like how it's affecting my liver or something, and recommended other things. It started getting to the point where he suggested I quit my job at one point when he finished college and moved in, but I told him it'd be beneficial for both of us to be working. He never asked again. However, he did start asking things like if I could cook for him, even though I said I was tired from work, would I stop working if he made enough money for the both of us, if I still wanted kids? I think he wanted to ask me to become a stay-at-home wife mother, but I could be overanalyzing. What happened to the closet door, man? This is the top post of the month? On the night before we broke up, when he decided to test me, I had the worst hallucinations since I was a teenager. I wake up, see the door open, and start to imagine the man I saw all those years ago. When I woke up the next day, it was around 4 a.m. I was able to move and started to cry immediately to a point where I couldn't shred any more tears, and apart from the migraine from crying too hard, I felt a numbness. So when he woke up a few hours later, I waited for him in the kitchen, just honestly feeling tired. I didn't yell, just spoke in a monotone voice. I told him how I had one rule, and that was to close the door. He got defensive, saying he felt like I was lying about my trauma just to see if he would care for me. I told him to leave while I thought things over. I never ignored him and he never texted me the whole week, but now I know for sure there's no saving this relationship and you can get your stuff from your brother. I already told him what you did. Now she's cut. What'd she say fuck me for? So good luck. I'll be moving in with my sister out of town. I'm not renewing my lease. I just want to be with people who actually support me. Okay. Like, good for you. I don't know what to say. I'm a little lost because I feel like I'm inundated with details. Your boyfriend left your closet door open. The only relevant detail here is that you have PTSD related to your closet, that seems completely fair. I don't care about the dinosaur stickers, glow in the dark, nightlight, planets, stars. Your boyfriend wants you to become a stay-at-home mother, even though you don't have kids. You went to college, but only for 2 years. He wants you to eat foods that are good for your liver instead of bad for your liver. Like, this has nothing to do with anything. Are you the asshole? Is there a question involved in this post? Is she the asshole? I don't know if anybody's the asshole. I feel like your boyfriend made a mistake and didn't close the door. And honestly, without being rude, like, your story is too insane for me to possibly give a verdict on your behavior, quite frankly. I think you were both upset, but this is impossible to judge. It's like a magic eye puzzle. I can't add anything more to the post, so I'm answering some questions people keep asking. Why is this shit written in like creepy font? Why did he keep going in the closet? I feel like people are assuming he would go in every hour, but no, he would come in just to get his textbook if he was studying an exam. And it was like once every few weeks and I'd still be awake watching a movie on my phone. Why didn't I close the door? I always do. Right before I go to bed, first thing I do is close the closet. It's like if you turn off the lights, this is like without, I'm not trying to make light of this person's trauma, okay? These are the things that you concern yourself with when you're like 8 years old. The PTSD associated with the closet is a different issue, but like if you're getting into an argument with your boyfriend about like you turned the light on, so you should be the person who turned the light switch off is insanity. This like little kid social dilemmas. Like it's just too much, man. Why am I going to get up from bed to close the closet if he's the one who left it open, especially if I'm dealing with sleep paralysis? What was his alternatives? He commented on how the closet squeaks. I told him I did find it annoying at first when I moved here, but our friend said it would be a good way to hear if someone was moving it. So this is why the door is squeaky. I don't want to close it because the door is squeaky. He wanted to remove the door or put a lock on it. I told him I did want locks, but my landlord wouldn't allow any changes to any of the doorknobs. Are we still together? No. Are his friends and family on his side? No. Turns out his just told him I got angry about him leaving the door open once. What are you talking about? I just don't understand what is happening here. She's responding to questions. My take as a streamer, so we're not in the same boat because I don't have the same kind of PTSD. But I get asked questions like all the time. It's up to you as the person with agency in the situation, as the quote unquote OP, in order to choose which questions need to be responded to. Like sometimes I'll be in the middle of a rant and someone, for example, you see it right there, there's some self-awareness, someone typed, when is Isaac coming back? I don't need to surface that into the narrative right now. Just because somebody asks you a question doesn't mean the response is warranted. You know, if I was playing Spelunky and someone said, when is Isaac coming back, then there's some relevancy there, especially because it's a one-word answer. Tomorrow! Hang on, librarian, can I get you know what I'm asking for here, right? This has 2,700 upvotes. For anyone who has ever experienced sleep paralysis, it is literally paralysis. You couldn't just get up to close the door if you wanted to. Yeah, I know. But like, it's not a serious question, right? Like if somebody is nobody's asking you like, why didn't you close the door when you were paralyzed? Like the question answers itself. They did though? Yeah, but I mean, that's not like, that doesn't make their case better. I'm not a rhetoric Andy. But at the same time, just because somebody asks you the worst question of all time and you answer it, that doesn't mean it makes your case any better. Half 2N. Thank you for the gifted subscriptions, by the way. Thank you. I had horrible sleep paralysis my whole life. That's fine. I mean, it's not fine. That sucks, is what I mean to say. But I'm like, what does it have to do with the story? Is this how you collapse posts on old Reddit? I read the title and I clicked instantly because, ooh, girl, I want to read your update because he's definitely the arsehole. It does sound like he made a mistake, but why are they, they're dragging the dude like so much. I think I only have a single toe in the culture of too hot takes right now, okay? So I'm just on regular Am I the Asshole? The top post would be like, you sound crazy and your boyfriend didn't do anything wrong. He should delete Reddit, get a lawyer, go to the gym, etc., etc. This, right now, just from post 1, this seems like it might be an inverted version of that. I saw that post and it made me so mad. Okay, apparently I need to see the original post in order to have a conversation here. That makes sense. Telling you he thought that you were lying about your trauma for attention from him, that's gross. That guy is icky. I'm adding it to my how not to give my wife the ick post. Or my notes app. Don't gaslight her into thinking she's pretending to have trauma for attention. I'm putting that, it'll be item number 935. One item above it is leaving my seatbelt buckled on the airplane after the sign turns off that allows you to take your seatbelt off. One above that is slipping on my shoes instead of untying the laces and then putting my feet into the shoes and then tying them back up. Right above that is drinking a soda by turning the aluminum tab so that the holes line up and then you can put the straw into that. And then sipping on the Diet Coke like this, like Cindy Crawford in a commercial. There's a few. Bringing my own cheese slice to a restaurant. Keep cooking. He's on a roll. Crying during Lady Bird on the airplane. Choosing to watch Lady Bird instead of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 on the airplane. So much for you speaking out about not being broke up. Ha ha ha, she left you. How you feel? She dodged a massive bullet with this one for being insensitive about her own trauma. Holy cow, they're snitch posting the guy who got dragged. This is crazy, man. I'm not sure if I should be on this subreddit. This is crazy. Well, this post, I just think that perhaps I didn't have the relevant details. That's fine. It's just like the length of the post it's kind of flabbergasted me, okay?